students, you are welcome to Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates. This is literature class. Today, we'll be looking at narrative devices in prose.
Eko Learners Support, a support program of the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education for WAEC and NECO candidates.
Narrative devices in prose, there are ample devices at the disposal of a writer that you can choose from. Apart from figures of speech and other literary elements, we have several devices at his disposal to use. And so we'll be looking at African Prose, Redemption Road. Subtitle, I have a sample question that will be treated. What is the significance of dream as used in Redemption Road? At the end of the lesson, this is what we would like to achieve. Number one, to summarize the novel, define setting and mention the setting of the novel. Mention the narrative techniques employed in the novel. Then number 5, explain the significance of dream as a narrative technique. The background. Redemption Road is written by a Liberian author, Elmer Shaw. The book is actually out to explore the effort of individuals in Liberia to reconcile war victims, graft them back into the society where they have been displaced, and yet making references to some of the events of the war through dream. We have the summary of the play. The novel presents different Liberian families that are affected by the war and how each struggle with their painful experiences. The experience of the bleeding past needs to be healed through restoration of peace and justice. In this novel, it is not actually out to reveal the gory sides and the evil that are perpetrated in the war. Rather, it wants to show the way everyone is making efforts even to bring about reconciliation in Liberia that is torn apart by war. So we have the protagonist who has set up an NGO named Peace in Practice, and bringing in so many war-affected war victims to counsel and to empower them so that they will begin to relate well in the society where they have been displaced. The traumatic experience of the war are revealed to us through the family of Lewis. The intermittent revelation of the details of the war are told by Bendy Lewis. So, through the eye of the protagonist, Bendy Lewis, we are able to see some of the terrifying pictures of the war, what transpired there, how life, are brutalized, and a lot of things turning upside down in the lives of so many families. The setting is in Monrovia. It's after the war. So, and it is during the administration of Charles Taylor. The novel is an historical novel. The war actually took place in the year 1989 through to 2003. Both the physical and the time setting of the play is related to the central theme of the war, because that was the period of the war in the city of Monrovia and its environs, and the most heat of the devastating effects of the war. So we can see that setting is actually very closely related to the theme that a writer tries to bring out in his literary work. So the city of Monrovia is a place where the event was actually revealed through the events that took place after the war. The narrative techniques. Here in this novel, we have quite different of techniques used in the novel. Apart from literary elements, we have dream, flashback, letter writing, we have stream of consciousness, we have foreshadow, we have situational irony, and some other techniques that can be discerned. Without the thorough knowledge of the text, it will be very difficult to identify all these techniques. So it is pertinent that students will actually sit to study very well. And at the end of the day, so many devices, hidden ones, can even be revealed. The question is, what is the significance of dream as used in the novel Redemption Road? The demand of the question. The statement on the central theme of war and reconciliation, that is the central theme of the novel. Statements on the characters that are connected to the question. State some of the other narrative devices apart from dream, which is the focus of the question. Then you reiterate dream as a device, used and define it. Because we have so many, it has been mentioned, then there is need to stress dream as a device that is going to be looked at in the course of the lesson. Bring out the instances of dream, add by Bendu, then explain the significance of the dream, then draw conclusion from all that have been said. You remember that there must be connection from the central theme down to conclusion. They are not going to be separate points when answering our question. Then we have a model answer that students can follow when they are answering such questions as this. The novel Redemption Road has a prominent theme of war and the path to reconciliation that is saddled with demand for justice rather than just forgiving and forgetting. Dream is one of the means of revealing this gory story. Dream is a device used to intimate us with some of the events in the war field and in the action camp of Dulema. You can see the connectivity with the device. There's connection with the device of dream with the central theme from that first paragraph. Then we continue. A dream is a subconscious thought of a person in a complete helpless state of sleep. It is through the dreams of Bendu that we had the details of the war. So we can see the connection of dream, the device, in the first stanza before coming in with the definition. And after the definition, it connects with the character, the Bendu, the protagonist. Then we move to the character that is connected to the question. Bendu is the daughter of Benjamin and Eva Lewis. She's a sister to Siata and Benjamin Jr. Her daughter's name is Baby Girl. So we have talked about the character that is connected with the question. And we can see the connectivity in the paragraphs. So it continues. The fearful incidents of what transpired in Dulima camp came back to her through nightmares after she came in contact with Cobra. So you can see the connection with the next paragraph, the connection of that dream as a device. It actually happened when Cobra and Bendu met in the city of Monrovia after they left Dulima camp. So we can see the connection. We continue in the next paragraph. So the significance of dream. Now to the question. After 3 paragraphs, we now begin to answer the question. So the significance of dream in the novel is that it serves as narrative point of view. The type is third person narrative point of view, where an independent person who is not part of a story is narrating the story of how Bendu got conscripted by Cobra, taken to camp, trained to kill, abused, assaulted by Samson. So one of the ways that some of the things that happened at Dulima camp were revealed to us is through the nightmare that Bendu had when he came in contact with Cobra again in the city of Monrovia. So one of the significance is the fact that it serves as a narrative point of view. A narrative point of view is a type of, we have 2 types of narrative point of view. We have first person narrative point of view and we have third person narrative point of view. Third person narrative point of view, the narrator is not part of the story. He's always standing aloof and revealing some of the things that happens in a story. While the first person narrative point of view is actually part of the story. In fact, he'll be telling the story of his life. So one of the significance is that it is used as a third person narrative point of view. Somebody is telling the story of Bendu through a dream. It also serves as a foreshadow. It gives a hint on what will happen in the future in her dream. You can see this when eventually in her dream she could see that she found herself on top of a mountain, free from the rebels and the people at Dulima. And that shows that at the end of the day, the story will actually end well, which actually happened at the end of the story. Dream is also a means of flashback. Everything narrated in the dream had happened in the past. The dream only takes her back in time to bring to the recent what has happened in the past. So that is another significance of dream as used in that novel. So flashback brings back what has happened years back to the fore, bringing us back to the incidents of the war. In conclusion, we have a conclusion. Dreams serve as a device in the hands of the author, which he uses in portraying the evil associated with war and the fact that war is fruitless. This peculiar device makes the story very interesting and unique. So we have said in the previous lessons that one of the reasons why device is pertinent for a writer is that it will help to portray, help to project the theme that the writer brings out in his story. So the theme of war is actually being brought out, projected, made seen vividly by the use of dream. Thanks for listening. For comments, question or observation, you can contact us on our social media handles displayed on the screen.
Acing your WAEC and NECO examinations has been made easy by the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education with the Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO Candidates television program. Join seasoned teachers as they take you through these core subjects, targeting the exact syllabus of WAEC and NECO. Watch Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates through these social media platforms to access more educational content and give their feedback. Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates. Pass your examinations with flying colors.